Dad's Bet Baseball's Pittsburgh Pirates MLB team preview is brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, HOFapp.com, or if you're watching this, you can use the QR code. Hall of Fame Bets we use for college basketball, which is in season right now, NBA, which had a whole bunch of trades today. Also MLB during the offseason because you can look up any player and see all their matchups. NHL, we used it for college football. Every single split you could want. It's one of the better research platforms out there. It works extremely well with handy graphs, so we love them. Hall of Fame Bets, use code DADS. You get 50% off the first month, 7-day free trial. This is an elite tool for you to use during baseball season. Again, Hall of Fame Bets, we are big fans of it. We wouldn't hawk it if we didn't love it. And now let's talk about, we have two guests. Well, not really, because CJ's my co-host.
I'm a guest. I guess I'm a guest every show.
I know. We have two Pittsburgh Pirates fans. So Julian, whose last name I never can pronounce, so I'm just I literally my phone is just Italian. Yeah. Carapellotti. Yeah, it's Julian emoji with the Italian fingers is here to talk about the Pirates. And before we jump into it, let's go through this team from last year. Your Pittsburgh Pirates they had 71 wins last year, which you would have thought it was way less given some of the everything that happened. But they had a 5-win decrease from the year before. Their Pythag though was 78. So on this team that kind of was bunk. That happened. 76 wins in 2024, 76 wins in 2023. And again, like I said, 71 wins last year. But the reason why I think a lot of us are high on this team, I'm going to go through some of the go through their transactions. Guys who we said goodbye to, Johan Oviedo, who actually I liked, by the way. He's quietly on the Red Sox, and I like him. Mike Burrows, who also I don't think stinks, but he's gone. Colin Holderman, who I have no idea who he is, but he sounds like someone who's on the Guardians, and he is now on the Guardians. But here's who came. This Pittsburgh Pirates team that actually signed players. Brandon Lau in a trade. Ryan O'Hearn, 2-year deal. Greg Soto.
Big, by the way. I want to just call this out because that Ryan O'Neal deal, was the first. Oh, sorry, Ryan. Why am I saying Ryan O'Neal? Ryan O'Hearn. That was the first free agent the Pirates had successfully signed for more than 1 year since Ivan
Nova.
Yes. That was the last time that Bob Nutting had shelled out a multi-year deal. So Ryan O'Hearn, not Ryan O'Neal. Congratulations on your multi-year. This is big stuff for the Pirates.
This is big stuff. Congratulations, by the way. We'll cash the over on is Nutting worse for baseball than the Dodgers. Also, in this trade with the Rays, they got our guy Jake Mangum. Mason Montgomery also came in that trade. And Josh, look, the password Garcia. Also a rookie. There's multiple rookies on the team because you got a bunch, and we'll talk about it. But those guys all came. So this Pirates team got folks. And guest first, what do you remember about this team? What was your takeaway from this team last year as Skenes got what we all assumed was going to be his first of many Cy Youngs?
He was amazing to watch, but it at times very frequently just felt like the offense was not living up to the billing that the pitching staff was doing. But between how good Keller looked at times too throughout the year, it just seemed like they were consistently not being able to give them the run support they needed to be a competitive team in the NL Central.
Yeah, and CJ, before I hand it to you to let you drive a little bit more on your own team, as I want to tell, he just mentioned with Keller, this Pirates team, I had it up. This Pirates team, their ranking, so all their hitting rankings bottom, 28, 30, 30th in home runs, 15th in stolen bases, probably because of that Marlins series where they stole 30 stolen bases to open the season and then never did anything again. But their starting pitchers had this 6th ERA, 6th in WHIP, 5th in hits per 9, 5th in home runs. Relief pitchers were good. What do you remember about the team? What did you bet on this team last year?
So The first thing I actually remember about this team is how much I was following the recovery of Jared Jones from a spring training injury, because you and I had him for multiple futures on I think we had some stupid like flyer on him for Cy, and we definitely had one on him for strikeout leader.
Yep.
And
we're all big Jared Jones guys.
We are. That's going to factor into this preview somewhat. But yeah, when I got the alert, I think it was like middle of May that they weren't going to actually bring him back. Huge sigh of relief. That was the most invested I had been in the Pirates, was the fact that I was waiting for this future to hopefully push on Jared Jones.
And the void that we got on that.
The void. I remember, as far as betting this team goes, this team struck out a shit ton last year. They were 5th in Ks overall. If you go and you look at some of the guys that were on this team, you had Jack Sawinski, 32% K rate. May I give you O'Neal Cruz, 32% K rate. Joey Bart, 28% K rate. There was a lot of Brian Reynolds, 26.4% K rate.
And he's good. And he's like got a good eye. He's considered having a good
and
eye.
He's like actually okay. Yes. Yeah. The Shreeds, SGPs, Shreeds, one of the members of our Discord who would always play like the Batter K SGPs. There was always a pirate. There was some pirate, and there was likely James Wood as part of that. And so that was something I remember. I also remember that their bullpen was sick. And then they obviously traded Bednar. And, I think if you're a Yankees fan, you do that 10 times over to get his stuff. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, I kind of feel the same as you, Julian. It was pretty miserable to watch this team with someone like Skenes. It was almost like having a competent parent in the house, and then just 4 or 5 toddlers running around, not having any clue what they're doing, and you just feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, that's really, really a good analogy to use in that situation. Like, it was just so frustrating sometimes to watch these 1-0 games in the 7th where we're just like, dude, come on. And then, to your point, the bullpen was solid at times too. Like, they just never got the run support they needed, especially on the road. Like, their splits were really, really bad last year. So you figure if they can fix that in some capacity, they'll be able to just keep going in the right direction after they make these moves to improve this abysmal offense.
Yeah. So with
they had.
Yeah.
Oh, go on.
I was going to say, are we excited? I was going to say, do you want to? I didn't know if you were ready to kind of move into some of the things that you're excited about with them, or you still want to wax a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes. Go wax on.
No,
this is your
that's
team.
all in the
You have
past.
the floor. You have the floor.
We don't need to wax on this team a lot more from last season. Clearly, this team was not trying last season. I think one other thing I'd bring up, though, and this does kind of factor into this season, is this team still has a lot of really good prospects in this farm system. So how the hell does this team get Paul Skenes, which, okay, they get him obviously as the number 1 pick in the draft, but then within 2 years, they get Connor Griffin, who is being compared by Keith Law and other people who are very close to watching prospects as the best prospect since Mike Trout. Connor Griffin, who will be starting on the AA Altoona curve, which was 5 minutes from where I grew up, and has a chance potentially to start on the opening day roster. Crazy that this team gets that type of prospects to come through. Bubba Chandler, also another guy who has been, talked about as potentially better than Jared Jones to come up through. And Seth Hernandez, who's also a top 30 prospect who they might be able to call up, or I think he's still, I don't even know if he's really in the single A. I guess he's still pretty young, but top 30 prospect, nevertheless, in terms of the MLB top 100. So this team has a lot of options. I know as we're recording this, I apparently are rumored in on Framber. I don't necessarily know if I buy any of that. But I mean, Bob Nutting would basically have to pay Framber in the ACV for his contract the amount of the entire payroll of the Pirates to make this make sense. So, but I'm looking ahead, Julian and Berg at this team, and from a starting pitching staff, the fact that they did hold on to Keller, that they've got Bubba Chandler, who, look, in 31 innings, okay, very small sample that he got called up.
They also used him out of the bullpen too.
They did,
Yeah.
but was effective. So you're going to get a full season of Chandler. You're going to get obviously Skenes is great, and put a pin in that because there's some stuff from a betting side I think we want to get into with him. But I think like the starting pitching should be, in my opinion, excellent compared to some of the NL counterparts. Like, I mean, is it safe to say, could you make an argument this is the best rotation in the NL Central?
I think you could. I mean, it top to bottom, even with some question marks about who's going to be in that 5th spot, it's really, really, really deep. Like that bullpen to starter move worked for Chandler, and we saw Ashcraft perform similarly well once he moved from the pen to the starter. Like I think that you've got these guys like Barco and Harrington and Leginski, if that's how you say his name, who I think is better suited for the bullpen than as a starter, just based off of how hard he would get the second time through the lineup. But just top to bottom, it gives you a chance to win every time you take the field with average offense at times.
Yeah, I like Carmen. First of all, he's a badass. You ever look at his photo?
Oh,
he just looks like a dude with
awesome.
looks like he should have like a backwards neck tat. But I mean, I'm a big Jared Jones guy because he's in the same. He to me, Jared Jones is always projected. If someone would teach him a changeup, then he'd be in great shape because like he just like that is like Spencer Strider style. Like that guy, like I knew he was gonna break his arm at some point because I'm just like he throws gas, but. I don't know, man. Like, I mean, you guys tell me like the biggest thing that always holds back on this team, and it's been for like decades, has been how they're going to score. And at the top of this lineup, I see, the Hebrew himself, Spencer Horwitz, as leadoff. I've kind of given up. I guess my big thing I'd say is O'Neal Cruz leading this offense, or is O'Neal Cruz now getting protection to lead this offense? Like CJ,
I think Ryan O'Hearn is leading this offense.
Right.
If we're looking just at straight 2025. I mean, if O'Neal Cruz is leading this offense, then this team is going to be over 500. Like if that's the kind of O'Neal Cruz we are going to get, he's going to be the catalyst for, to me, taking that offense from what could be like you had mentioned. I think Berg, what'd you say? They were like 30th in run production last year.
They were bottom, bottom or next to last in run production. And like
I look at this team now. I look at this team now and I go, is this like? Could you make an argument that this lineup belongs between 23 to like 15? I think I could.
I mean, it's a joke because a lot of these guys came from the Rays, but I would take this lineup over the Rays lineup. Like, seriously, look at it. Would you not take?
I don't know if I would. No player in this lineup is as good as Junior Caminero. Is kind of the first
Sure. But like in terms of just like. I don't know, man. I think Brandon Lau coming on there is great. I mean, he was second in home runs for second baseman last year. Like Mangum was
O'Neal Cruz. If you look at his StatCast page, it's like when you would like create a player in Madden and you would only have so many points for the rating. So you would make like 3 things like 99 overall, and then you'd have like 30 for everything else. And that's what O'Neal Cruz's page looks like. Because from a exit velo, barrel, hard hit. I mean, bat speed, he is legit the 100th percentile in this category, and this is something that we look at pretty closely. So, like, when you're also in 100th percentile for bat speed, but you're in the 2nd percentile for K and 3rd percentile for width. Look, the thing is, if he can actually become like even 15% more disciplined, this guy is going to be a 100 plus WRC plus type of player. So, I look at the offense. I think I agree. Brandon Lowe, I was like shocked to see that he had a 114 WRC plus last year. Like that was not necessarily a bad move on their part. I don't hate Tommy Pham. I've just never really. I thought he's.
Is he still on the team?
There were times last year where him and McCutchen were like the most competent members of the offense.
Is McCutchen back this year, or
no? McCutchen's still waiting. But
he'll end up back on that team, right? Like they got to take him over like Jack Sawinski, right?
They should.
They should. From a fan perspective, like just
any year he wants to.
Yeah, literally, like, I mean, he's the only Pirates player to win MVP since, I think, Stargell, if I'm right. It might be.
Did Bonds win one?
I'm not sure if he did or not. I have to look.
I don't know if he did.
I'm going to look this up now, Julian, now that you got me.
I will wait. I'll do it. I'll do it while you. Bonds won MVP. Yeah, he did, because he won him in 90
Bonds did
and
win
92.
MVP. You're right.
90, 92, and 93. And then he won 4 straight for...
Why? Okay, here's one other quick question though before we start looking ahead at some of where we're looking to potentially bet this team.
Wow, Bonds is not in the Hall. He's so good. Sorry, I got very distracted by like how good Barry Bonds was.
Well, it's pretty damn good. Why is Starling Marte not on this team, Julian?
He would be such a perfect piece in this outfield right now. The hauls for some of these guys when they were trying to rebuild, like this is when it would be paying off, like the Josh Bell trades, the Starling Marte trades, and we're just not seeing these guys pan out as prospects, which is just so frustrating to watch from the fan perspective. But to your guys' point, like they went out and made this lineup better across several like key positions that were really, really lacking last year. Like, obviously, there was a lot of smoke and rumors about them being linked to the third baseman who've been out there. So, like, I know Triolo ended the year hitting pretty well, and he's still a Gold Glove fielder. But I do think a piece like that is much better served on the bench since they were in on Suarez. Positions. Yeah,
they were. Yeah, they had a 2-year deal.
They were going to end up with Gio too.
I know. And there's some,
I kind of don't get why Gio did that, but
yeah, there's some like Vientos and Brett Beatty rumors now that they might be trying to trade for someone like that or like an Isaac Paredes. So we'll see if they can end up fixing.
So that'd be a really good. So he'd be a really good fit on that team because like all he does is hit into one exact area of the field. And
you mean the left field? Yeah.
The left field. Like it's so funny to watch his StatCast home run because it's the same arc in the exact same spot. But he's also just like really well. Last year he wasn't, but like he's generally like a really good fielder. That'd be a good one for you guys. I mean, so like I'll let like you guys kind of drive and advantages because like I'm on the I'm a fan of the other side of the state, but I mean, look, are you more excited than not, or are you cautiously optimistic, or are you way past cautiously optimistic? Like, what do you think? Like, is this team good? Does this team battle for a playoff spot?
I think they should be able to. Like, cautiously optimistic is a good way to put it. Like, again, with the improvements they've made, with how good the staff is, like you figure Jones will be back. I believe he's on time from that 10 to 12 month recovery from late May when he had the surgery. So you're going to add him to an already really, really deep rotation. The bullpen should be lights out. There's some guys in there who have some stuff I really like seeing last year, like Mattson. I think that if this team's improved offense is going to help them compete in the Central, because the Reds got that last wild card spot, winning 80 games last year. Like,
it was also a miracle. Like it required a neck collapse.
Yeah,
it's one of the reasons why
collapse.
It's one of the reasons why like everybody's very high on this. Everyone's really high on the Reds, and like CJ and I can't get there because I'm just thinking like we were very high on the Reds last year. But it's just sort of like, do you know how they ended? We had no business cashing any of our Reds over, or Reds to make the playoffs, or Reds to be the 6th seed when we doubled down. We had no business winning any of that stuff, and it happened. So
this team to me is very much like there's some variance, like some high variance that could happen with this team, because you've got, as we talked about with Cruz, and we earlier I had mentioned with Connor Griffin, if he's not on the roster on opening day, he will be on this roster at some point this season.
Yeah.
whether it's May or June, probably, I guess, at the latest. But and if he is somebody that can come up and make an impact, somebody, obviously, Berg, you and I are very high on this season that made a pretty significant impact in limited time last year was Roman Anthony on the Red Sox, who was the number one prospect and got called up. If Griffin can make even that type or 90% of what Anthony did last year for the Pirates, that impact is like exponentially greater because there's just not other guys in that lineup that could do what he does. So I see that this team actually could end up winning. I can't believe I'm even saying this out loud, but like I really believe they could win 88 to 90 some plus games if they get things going right on the Griffin, on the Cruz side, that they are a little bit more disciplined, that they do try to actually make some moves at the deadline, and that Chandler and Jones are productive starters for them. Because one thing that we know from a betting angle on this team is that Skenes is a horse. Like you know what you're getting with Skenes. And I think that Berg, you're the one that sort of brought this to my attention earlier today, and I want to kind of let you riff on it a little bit. But as far as the Skenes factor goes, so he's plus 250 to win Cy, which in the NL, I think I was texting you earlier saying basically, is this just Skenes? Like for Cy, like is there really any reason to look at any other candidates seriously? Because if that's the case, I think there might be a case that you could look at him for MVP.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
I had that same.
You went straight to the main course. I had like some things.
I had that same school of thought looking at the numbers and just kind of getting this like if P then Q of if you're this high on the team to compete with, there's much better value to just take him to be the MVP because he would be the most valuable piece of this team, just a guaranteed win one every 5 days.
Yeah. You went straight to the fillet. Like spoiler alert, I think all of us are saying we're all dancing around it, but like I think Skenes MVP at 65 to 1 is a bet. But backing up, like I'm gonna take that tenderloin away from you. And here's my first question, because it goes to what you guys were just talking about. What about Don Kelly for Manager of the Year?
I'm trying to think. Okay, so if we said Skenes 65 to 1 as MVP, I'm not playing the game of like what's the longest
breaking news, but I don't know if I want to announce it.
Framber
to the Tigers on a 3-year 115.
Oh my God, we need to.
Wow, what a crazy overpay. All right, anyway,
we need to move up. We need to move up the Tigers.
We need to move up Nick. Yeah, we got to call Nick.
Yeah, so the Skenes 65 to 1 is one of those long shots. I'm looking at other so we don't think that anybody on this team would be in the category for home run leader. Would we agree on that?
I do.
Correct. You do? Who?
Oh, I agree that nobody would be.
Okay. All right. So we say, home run leader, definitely not there. Strikeouts leader, you're not going to get a good price. I mean, Skenes is 4 to 1 on that one. I would just rather take him honestly at Cy, if I'm going to bet that. And then I don't think O'Neal Cruz, 99th percentile in steals. I don't necessarily see it at 20 to 1 as really the best price on that either.
Not when he's batting that low in the lineup too.
No.
Mangum is also 19 to 1 for that prop, which I really
and Cruz actually have to get on base to steal base.
Yeah, that's
cool. You have a 99 percentile. You need to actually
but it's also just
get on the bag.
It's just harder. It's harder if you're batting 6th. Like if he was leading off, I could get there. I just can't get there when he's
so then it goes, okay, well then from an individual player standpoint, we don't think anything except for maybe Skenes MVP 65 to 1 or Manager of the Year. And then if I'm looking at I just was curious, like what's the price for if the Pirates were the number 1 seed, they're 120 to 1, which is kind of fun.
That's a bonkers year.
That's nuts. It actually makes me wonder, like market is definitely telling you, I know these are long prices, but that this team is going to be better than I think most people think. Because even if you look at the 3 seed, which would imply that they have to win the division, they are 18-1. That's ahead of teams like the Padres, the Cardinals, the Diamondbacks, the Giants. So, I think all in all, Adam, I think that manager of the year bet is definitely worth a look. Because if you're looking at the other long odds, it's either you're going to play Skenes MVP at a much longer number, but you obviously are going to risk, a smaller stake.
Off of a similar school of thought to that, like if you think the team is going to overperform what this market is saying about them, like Dennis Santana at 35-1 to lead the league in saves is another long shot that might be worth considering because he really settled into that role like after Bednar got traded, and he's just got the filthy stuff that you look for when you're trying to hold a lead in the ninth.
Yeah, he's some of those guys are really good because you have a lower win total, so the share of it is impressive. I mean, Pagan had 32 for that Reds team that won like 81 games, and he was like third in the league. Like you only need 40 to do it. I like, so wait, are there other, both of you guys, because like I want to then get back to the Skenes MVP thing. I want to lose that, but are there other players or other markets that you kind of are you interested in any like individual play? Like if I don't think it's out yet, but like, are you interested in O'Neal Cruz like over his stolen bases individually? Or are you interested in like O'Hearn over 23.5 home runs? Are you interested in any of those? Are you interested in any player, like likely any player, individual player prop overs or
season long? Nothing jumped out to me like that, but from a daily standpoint, like I do think that Brian Reynolds is someone who I would consider backing like on a night to night basis because he started off last year really, really slow, but he ended like the second half of the year with an OPS over 800 is like far more in line with what he typically delivers at the plate. And I think that some of these newer additions like are going to give him lineup protection for the first time he's had in essentially his whole career with the Pirates. So he'll be able to hopefully have more advantageous like hitting situations at the plate with guys on base that could lead to maybe like a more aggressive approach and more RBI numbers.
The market I like him for, and it hasn't come out yet, I like him for doubles leader. He had
that's good.
He had the fourth most doubles in the league. I remember seeing it like a couple weeks ago, and then I bookmarked it in my head, but he had the fourth most doubles after July 1st. It was like Bo Bichette had 24, Vinny P had 24, Tyler Soderstrom 23, and Brian Reynolds had 22. Like he's fast, he switch hits.
Yeah.
He's just a really good contact hitter in that sense. Like he bats second, right? Second or third. Like
second or third, yeah.
Yeah, like that's one that I'm going to be looking at. Like I'm fine getting like in on a lot of markets on this team, but like the one that I definitely circled is Brian Reynolds doubles leader for especially in that ballpark too.
I would go. Yeah, I mean, day to day, and I remember actually now betting this quite a bit towards the end of the season. But look for Joey Bart for batter walks every day. He is somebody with a 12+% walk rate, and for some reason, tends to be a guy that is able to draw walks, and those are usually you're going to get plus money on batter to draw a walk type of prices typically in day-to-day stuff. So the other one though, from a market standpoint, so again, if you're higher on this team like we are, and this talk about this episode being full of bloopers. This entire episode may be a blooper about like 4 to 5 weeks into the season when we're like, holy shit, this team still sucks.
10 games under in May.
So if you go on DK, for example, right now, and you want to bet the Pirates to make the playoffs, they are plus 450. But if you go to the win bands and you bet them at 85 plus wins, they are 6-1. Yeah. So that to me makes absolutely zero sense. I know that the Reds made the playoffs last year with 84 wins, but I definitely think this team, like if they're going to make the playoffs, they're winning 85 games. So don't go bet to make the playoffs. Go bet that win band on 85 plus or try to find that because 61 is a pretty good price for where we think. Again, their win total is 76.5, and you're betting a little bit of juice to the over on that already if you like them. So for basically 8+ more wins, you're getting a 6-1 price. So yeah, that's the other one that when I'm kind of looking and evaluating where I want to bet this team that stuck out.
So you want to close this up and have a real conversation about Paul Skenes MVP, and if it's a dart.
Well, let's bring the fillet back out. Yeah.
All right, the fillet is back out.
The main course.
This is this was a fleeting thought earlier this afternoon, and it quickly became my second favorite MVP bet that we have. So taking you through this, if you guys have mentioned it, but it started with Skenes stuff is so much better than everybody else's for Cy Young. And actually the only guy who I'm even interested in for Cy Young, we have Brad Woodruff in pocket, but besides that is Zach Wheeler, who we don't know what we're getting. Cause actually, if you look at the numbers, Zach Wheeler it's Skenes and Wheeler, and then it's literally a gap and then everybody else. And so then I started thinking, okay, Kershaw retired, Verlander is pseudo retired. These guys who won MVP and were Cy Young types. If you believe that there's going to be an anti-Ohtani narrative that basically resets the MVP market and allows them to be like, you know what, we're actually once again going to vote for who's most important to their team. And we believe that this Pirates team improves and gets to 80 wins, which means Paul Skenes has a reasonable shot to be the first pitcher in a while to get 20, because that has that stat, that metric's dead. And people don't get 20 wins anymore. And he probably could get near that. I think Urias or whatever a couple of years ago got it. And it was then he beat his wife in the playoffs and got kicked out of baseball. Not that it's bad that happened. It just, that guy stunk. So, but my point is just 65-1 for what we can arguably say is the best pitcher by a mile in baseball and the most important member of his team. I think that there's a lot. I think he has a stronger case for that than even Scoop Ball did last year for the Tigers. Especially since we just talked about, we can't think of a guy on this team if this team does well. Who are we interested in from an offensive perspective of buying their player props? Nobody. So if it happens, it's his team. And I mean, what do you think on that?
The only push, I wouldn't say, I guess, pushback, because I also am in pocket, full transparency for this bet as well. But the only thing I would say in terms of where, and again, 65-1 for a reason. There's not a lot of instances where pitchers win Cy and win MVP, but if the Pirates are going to be in that 90 plus or whatever win range, and Skenes is the story, I think there is there's a lot of scenarios where Connor Griffin is winning Rookie of the Year and is just balling as part of that, or that O'Neal Cruz not is in the MVP hunt, but is certainly part of the story. Oh look, he's the bat speed king and he finally started to figure it out. And there's some other pieces that could kind of come into play. So I do think the pitching staff could be excellent, and it doesn't really matter. Skenes could still be in that sort of MVP discussion. If Jones or Chandler are great, no one's taking anything away from Skenes. Skenes is getting all of the credit for that instance. But the wild card for me is what happens with Griffin. Because if Griffin is as good as what people are saying and is advertised and comes up and makes an immediate impact, I think that does take a little bit of the narrative away, and they'll be like, well, we'll just give, Skenes, Cy, and Connor Griffin Rookie of the Year. There's a bunch of awards you could figure out how to shell across this team.
Yeah, I see that too, especially with how Bubba Chandler's Rookie of the Year odds are right up there too.
Yeah,
with Griffin. So there's definitely not a world where Skenes wins MVP, Cy Young, and then another pitcher wins Rookie of the Year, or another Pirates position player is going to win the Rookie of the Year award too. So I completely get the logic behind that distribution of the award system.
Yeah, when I look at the MVP for NL, then to go to that, I looked at guys and I'm just okay, well, Soto has this pedigree, who when's going to be his time, because he it's that last year our biggest bet was actually Skenes Cy. We just unloaded on it on open at 5-1, because the cap was, as long as Paul Skenes is breathing, at the end of the season, this is his award. And it was, and that's worked out.
Yeah.
And I feel similar to that on Juan Soto. And then I look at all these guys and like, I can't get excited about Elly De La Cruz because I think Suarez actually like kills that lineup. I can't get like excited about Acuna because I know everyone's like, oh, Braves bounce back. Like, I have a huge problem with how that infield looks, and I don't necessarily. I think Matt Olson may not be as great as everybody thinks he is, and may have actually like regressed a little bit. And there's all these guys in between. Like, I don't think Bryce Harper is going to be able to do this. Like all these guys, and then if I'm going to take a shot at a pitcher, if there's anybody who's a pitcher who's going to be able to do that, I think Paul Skenes could do it, and I think he could do it right after he wins Cy Young, and it's that era of like, this is the guy. Here you go. And it kind of resets the narrative. And again, at like 65-1, I mean, it's an outlier number. So like in full disclosure, would I take it at 40-1? Probably not. Probably 50-1 is my cutoff on that. But I still think that there's a lot of worlds where the Pirates win 85 games and Don Kelly's manager of the year and Paul Skenes takes home massive hardware for that kind of thing. So, all right. So let's go quickly. We'll go through it. We're going to go over under on the win total and like favorite kind of future that you have. So Julian, over under on win total.
Over.
All right. And CJ, over under on win total.
Over
as well. And Julian, what's your favorite future bet for this team that you want to give out?
I like the Santana prop still. I think that to what we just talked about this team being competitive, then he's going to be a big part of that, and he'll have a chance to close out a lot of games down the stretch.
And that was what, 35-1?
35-1.
Yeah, I like that a lot. CJ.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of love this 85 plus for the 6-1 that I brought up. I think that's a really solid bet. And look, man, it's going to sound super square, but if you can find Skenes at a number of 3-1, like, fine. Like, if you need some sort of floor for a future that you just want to have, like, that you can feel good about the entire year, I honestly don't hate it, because I just don't see any other pitcher. I can add equity on some really big long shots, and I just know that I have Skenes like in pocket.
Yeah,
That's
what we did last year.
Yep.
And I like that. Yep. I would say, I mean, obviously we talked about like the Skenes MVP, but I would definitely, I think I'm really waiting for this Brian Reynolds doubles leader to drop. I think that just has a lot of that has a lot of value, especially for a guy that isn't really like a 20 home run, like could hit 20 home runs, but he stole he's 2 years removed from stealing double-digit bases, so like he could do a lot of different things. So he has that kind of wheels. All right, cool. So Julian, do you want to tell everybody if and where they can find you on any sort of social channels or music gigs or anything cool that you're working on?
Man, I wish we had more gigs coming up to spotlight, but yeah, I'm Julian. Thanks to Adam and CJ for having me on to talk about the Pirates. You can find me on Instagram if you just search at JU_CARP_, and would love to keep talking baseball with anybody who's out there.
Yeah, we'll have you definitely on during the season to do some damage, and then we'll also hang out when I come to New York. All right, finally. So really, well, because you're never there. I'm always at Fish, and I'm really, really high. All right, so for CJ and for Spencer and Spencer's dog, this was Dad's Bet Baseball. Thanks again to our sponsor, Hall of Fame Bets, HOFapp.com. Use code DADS, and we will see you as we continue to march on the team previews.